Previously on The Amazing Spider-Man, Kraven the Hunter and Queen Goblin join forces to suffer Norman Osborn, the former Green Goblin, for his crimes. So Kraven prepares a mystical spear with Norman's sins and goes to confront him. But as he about to enter the spear into Norman's chest, Spider-Man takes the hit instead. Now the sins of Green Goblin coursing through Peter's veins, and it turns him into the Goblin Spider-Man. On his brutal revenge, he goes to take down all those people who hurt him the most. He brutalizes Kraven and buries him alive. He almost kills Tombstone in his hospital bed, and then he goes to hunt down his ex-girlfriend Mary Jane and his new boyfriend Paul. He tracks them down into the Holland Tunnel and begins to destroy everything on his way with his special glider and spider bombs. But before he can take their lives, Queen Goblin shows up and stops Spidey before he does something he will regret. On the other side, Norman Osborn saves Kraven from his grave, and he wants his help to free Peter from the Goblin Spider. Welcome to Comicstube YouTube channel. In today's video, we will review Chapter 35 of The Amazing Spider-Man. You can get the previous parts on this playlist, so if you guys are new here, please subscribe and turn on all the notifications to never miss any future uploads. Please like, comment and share. All the text and images are owned by its respected company. You can support them by purchasing it digitally or from any offline stores. The issue opens up with Norman Osborn, who is working in his lab, preparing a way to return Peter back to his normal self, and with his techs and gadgets, he extracts the energies of Sin Eater's gun and adds them to Kraven's spear, and his plan is to stab Peter with the spear and removes the Goblin's sins. Kraven doesn't like guns, so he allows his spear to get modified with the Sin Eater's gun. Time is running short, and they have to confront Spider-Man before he takes 2 innocent lives. The panel then jumps at the Holland Tunnel, where Queen Goblin is trying to stop Peter. She tells him he has been infected with the Goblin sins. She knows how it feels, and she can help him to overcome this burden. But none of her words reach into Spidey's ears. All he is thinking that everyone is looking at him with fear, and one of them is Mary Jane, who left him alone because of Paul. He hates her, he hates all of them, and it makes him feel alive. And before Queen Goblin can realize anything, the enraged Spidey then hits her with a metal barricade, and he approaches Paul to make him suffer. But MJ is there to protect him. She quickly tells Paul to run away, and then she stands in front of Peter with her new jackpot powers. But it makes Peter mad, as that man took his girlfriend, and now she is protecting him. So MJ tells Peter it was her decision, nobody took her anywhere, and it snaps Peter as he realizes it was all MJ who betrayed him the most. So he charges towards MJ to make her pay. But before he can do anything, Spidey gets hit directly in the head as Queen Goblin charges from behind and begins to brutalize him, as she only wants the sins of Norman, which is in Peter's body. And as he is not listening, Queen Goblin then grabs Spider-Man by the throat and raises her hand and proceeds to tear apart Spidey's throat. But MJ stops her with her jackpot powers and tries everything in her limit to save Peter. But while she was busy holding off the Queen Goblin, Peter gets the chance and begins to chase down Paul to remove him from MJ's life, and he is going to do exactly the same the Green Goblin did to Gwen Stacy. He catches Paul and brings him on top of a bridge, telling Paul he never should have come to this world. He don't belong here. But Paul says he's not going anywhere. He can do anything to him. So Peter agrees and he throws Paul off a bridge. But before he can meet his end, MJ is able to save Paul with her jackpot powers. And right from behind, Norman shows up and assures MJ that he will bring back Peter. Along with Norman, Kraven is also there to confront Spider-Man with his modified spear. Kraven tells him he infected Peter with the sins of Green Goblin, which was meant for Norman, so he needs to end this once and for all. Spidey is also prepared. He removes his mask, and by showing his goblin face with the glowing eyes, he tells Kraven he threw him into grave for fun, but this time he's going to hurt him bad. As a result, the two beasts charge against each other, but Kraven is no match for Spider-Man, and he soon learns that by being beaten up left and right. Spidey breaks almost every bones in his body, but Kraven still smiles, and with his bruised face, he tells Spider-Man he is thankful for him. He put him in the grave with his father's gun, and he did not follow him. There was a voice in his head that took his father's mother, the voice that killed his father, but it's gone now. He faced the darkness, and he did not pull the trigger, and now he knows, however he died, it will not be by his hand. And before Peter can understand, Kraven grabs him in both of his hands and screams he owes Spider-Man his salvation. And right at that time, Norman enters the spear into Peter's back, and after struggling a lot, Norman is able to absorb all the Goblin scenes into the spear and returns Peter to his normal self. Peter is finally back to his sense, and he apologizes MJ for hurting them. Everything is settled down. Kraven tells Norman that he will bury the spear into the ground, and also assures him he will not bother him again. Norman also believes him, but from a distance, someone is watching the whole scene. The Queen Goblin. Norman sees her smiling, and he knows she will return again. Days have passed since that incident, but the destruction of Holland Tunnel is all over the news. People are protesting against the superpowered people, and Peter is upset because of his crime. He contacts Norman, and he tells Peter to not to worry. Peter was wearing a black costume, so people will never know it was him. But Peter blames himself, so Norman comforts him and says it wasn't him. He knows that more than anyone, so he advises Peter to take some time off, get some rest. But Peter believes there is only one way to overcome this guilt, and he back again in his red and blue costume as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The city is safe from the Goblin Spider. Norman knows his sins are no longer in Peter's body. The spear is made to hold them off, but he also fears that spear is not their home. And then another voice echoes in his mind and tells him Norman Osborn is their home. Norman tells himself he had to save Peter. He didn't have time, but he knew if given the chance, his sins would come home. And then he smiles, and it shocks Norman. As it appears, Norman Osborn is still corrupted by the Goblin sins, and he don't know how to save himself from the Green Goblin. And with that, the chapter 35 of The Amazing Spider-Man comes to a close. So which part you like the most? Please share them on the comment section down below. And please like this video and do subscribe, as this will motivate me to make more contents. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.